welcome to Alpha Militaria TV. Thanks very much for tuning in and seeing what we're up to. My name is Richard Saunders. Now, the rifle that we have on the bench today is a relatively new rifle. There have been a few other videos out on it, but we thought we'd throw our hat in the ring as well. It is the FX DRS, and it's caused a little bit of a stir because it has an unusual feature in that the air cylinder is wrapped around the barrel. There's no air bottle in the conventional sense, there's no air cylinder in the conventional sense either. The air supply, as I say, is wrapped around the barrel. Now, it's not the first rifle to do that, and in actual fact we reviewed the Remington Vought a little while ago, a sort of a budget £500 bolt action rifle. But this one seems to have really caught people's imagination, probably because it comes from the FX stable. Now, there are three different models. This is the black synthetic stock version is referred to as the classic, and that retails for about £754. And then there are two different walnut versions ranging from £890 to £1,126. The higher price version of the walnut rifle just has a better grade of walnut. And then there is a fully tricked out competition, very tactical looking version called the Pro MDT, which is £2,726, so quite a jump. But in this guy's here, the black synthetic classic, it's 750 quid for a fully tricked up, regulated FX rifle is great value for money. Now you get two different barrel lengths as well. This is the 500mm barrel, there's a 600mm barrel as well. And they both have the STX Superior liner in them. Now, this is available in 12 foot-pounds, 177 and 22, and also there are FAC versions as well, which introduce the 2.5 caliber. And the rifle is fully regulated. It has the FX AMP Mark II regulator in it, which is a well-proven regulator. Now, what I like about this rifle, and there's lots of things I like about this rifle, is the fact that it is so light and so compact, especially with this 500mm barrel version. I mean, overall, obviously without a scope, this rifle weighs 2.2 kilos, which is just under 5 pounds, 4.9 pounds. And lengthwise is 927 millimeters or 36.4 inches. Now obviously, you put a scope on top of that adds a little bit, and you can put a silencer on here as well. But at its core, it's a very compact, light rifle to use. Now the air cylinder is 208 cc's, takes a 230 bar fill, and in terms of shot count at 12 foot-pounds, you can expect but anywhere between around about 140 shots in 177 and around about 200 shots in 2.2. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll zoom in on the rifle, we'll talk about the key components in more detail, then we'll end up down at the range and see how it shoots. So the FX DRS then, as I said before, this is the 500mm DRS Classic with the black synthetic stock. Now starting at the back, you have this solid rubber shoulder pad, which is nice and comfortable. It's ridged on the end as well. There is a screw hole in the middle of the butt pad up here, which would indicate that you can adjust the shoulder pad up and down. You can't. In actual fact, if you undo that screw, all you're going to do is make this shoulder pad loose and floppy. You don't really need it, to be honest, because you've got a nice high cheek comb up here, which gives you good eye alignment to a scope down the rifle. Then you have either side, because this is fully ambidextrous, other than the side that the magazine goes in and the safety catch, you do have a cheek piece either side to suit left or right handers. Now the pistol grip is actually quite steep. There's no checkering on it or anything like that. There's no checkering on the fore end either. But because of this synthetic finish, it's slightly kind of soft touch. It's not a hard plastic, it's a soft touch synthetic stock. The material itself is very grippy, so you don't really need checkering, I don't think. I believe that the walnut versions do have some checkering though. Forward of that obviously is the trigger, a two-stage fully adjustable trigger. It's a post and shoe match style trigger. Very, very nice, very crisp. It's a little bit light on the rifle straight out of the box, but I adjusted it very easily. and yeah, it's sweet as now, it really is. On the other side up here, you have the, where is it? You have the safety catch. In the rear position back here, the rifle is safe, then you push it forward to make the rifle live. It operates silently and is very, very smooth indeed. So too is the side lever. Now the side lever is not sprung, which I quite like. You put it out to a first stage and then you pull it back a second stage, and obviously push the side lever forward to probe a pellet through the magazine. Now the magazine is, if anyone's got an FX Impact or any other FX to be honest, you'll recognise the magazine. And this is like a miniaturised version of it. And we'll show you how to fill up the magazine in a minute or two. It takes 14 shots in 2.2, which is what this rifle is, and 16 shots in 1.77. And that inserts into the breech from the right hand side. Now I did find putting it into the breech, it was a little bit tight. Required a firm hand to put it in there, but the benefit of that was it didn't move once it was in the breech. And it doesn't go right the way through the breech, it kind of goes halfway in, which makes you at first think it's not fully into the breech, but it is. And in all the time I've been using this for a month or more now, it's been, hasn't missed a beat, it's been very reliable. You get quite a short dovetail rail at the top here to mount your scope, and it's broken into two halves because of the magazine. Now I've got a very short, very compact MTC copperhead on this rifle, simply because it suits the small dimensions of the rifle. But I've also had much bigger, 6-24 by 50 objective lens scopes on here without a problem at all. And as I say, you've got plenty of room for eye relief. Now on this side of me, and we'll show you this in a little moment, there is a pressure gauge. It is indicated, you're told to, or you're advised to give this a 230 bar fill, as I said before, for between 140 shots in 1.77 and 200 shots in 2.2. And then underneath here, this is one point that's really got people talking, is this sort of faux magazine. And on FAC versions, in actual fact, it's even more pronounced than this. It looks even more like a magazine on a centerfire or rimfire rifle. Now on FAC rifles, it's actually hides the plenum. On this rifle, because this is 12 foot-pounds, doesn't have a plenum, so this is just a blanking plate, but it looks quite cool anyway. And then on this side, there is a port for the filler probe, and we'll show you that in a second as well. The fore-end slopes and narrows quite nicely at the front here, and is finished off with this sort of schnabel effect at the end. And then the 208cc air cylinder, as I say, wraps around this barrel, gives it some sound suppression as well. But if you undo this cap at the end, you will reveal a 1/2 inch UNF thread. Now, because the barrel's quite fat because of the air cylinder, you can put any silencer on there that you like, to be perfectly honest, but most of them are smaller than the width of the barrel. So I've been using this Donny FL Tatsu, which suits it quite nice, but I've been using it mainly because it's short and fat like me. And I understand that one of the reasons, or one of the benefits of this air cylinder around the barrel, is that it stiffens the barrel, reduces vibration, and therefore that adds to the accuracy potential. Now I don't know if that's marketing or not, but having shot this for a month or 6 weeks or so, it is an incredibly accurate rifle, so perhaps there is something in it. Anyway, I hope that's useful. What we'll do now is we will go through, we'll zoom in on some of the key components on the rifle, talk about them in a little bit more detail. We'll go through the magazine loading process, the air filling process as well, and then we'll end up down on the range and see how it shoots. Now there's no mystery to filling up the DRS with air. As you can see, there's a fill port here on the left side of the rifle just behind the pressure gauge, and there's no bung or anything like that to remove, so I'm guessing that there's some kind of filter further into the valve there to protect it. But if it bothers you, then I'm sure you'll be able to buy an aftermarket fill bung somewhere. The fill probe itself is machined on the end to snap directly onto a Foster fitting, so you don't have to buy a separate adapter for that. And all you do is literally push the probe into the Foster fit like that, make sure it's on there nice and firm, and then insert that into the port. Now, I have noticed that you can just sort of push this into the port and think that you're ready to go, where in actual fact, what you need to do is make sure that probe is in as far as it will possibly go. Otherwise, it'll just sort of pop out slightly. So push it in as far as it will go, and you're all set. Now, I've been giving this a 210 bar fill. Recommended maximum is 230, but I've been giving it 210 and getting near enough 200 shots out of it. Once you've filled up with air, obviously close the airline off, bleed the whip, pull out the probe, and you're good to go. Now the magazine is a little bit fiddly, to be honest, only because it's so small, but once you get the knack, you're up and running. As I say, it's like a miniature version of other FAC magazines. It takes 14 shots 2.2 and 16 shots in 1.77. Now to load it, you need to rotate this little lug at the top here, in the middle, through 180 degrees, and that will allow you to pull this plastic faceplate off. And then inside there you can hopefully see the different chambers. Now this is a fiddly bit, especially if you've got fat sausagey fingers, but you basically need to rotate the inner drum, those chambers around as far as they will go anti-clockwise, and then hopefully you can see just up here the first pellet hole, first chamber. You just drop a pellet in the top there, and then that will hold that drum in place, and you can fill up all of the other chambers at your leisure. Now, one thing I've noticed, and hopefully you can see this here, is that sometimes that first pellet will fall through sort of too far through the magazine. If I can get that on camera, you can see that it'll fall too far through the magazine, and obviously when you come to putting it into the breech, then it will get fouled up. So just kind of give that a push back so it's flush with the back of the magazine. And then, as I say, you can just simply drop the magazine, the pellets into the magazine at your leisure. Now, this is a proper mishmash of pellets here. There's all sorts of different brands in here. They've just come out of my cupboard to show you how to fill it up, so don't blame me for that. But you just literally drop them nose first into the chambers, like so, so that they all fill into the chambers like that. And then when you finish that, put that plastic plate back on the top. There's a little pin just up here that you want to align with a hole in the top of the faceplate. So just pop that on there, and then rotate this lug round 180 degrees again to hold the faceplate in place, and then you're good to go. Now, putting the magazine in the breech is nice and straightforward. As you can probably see, I've taken all the pellets out of this magazine simply to make it safe because I'm indoors. Now, at the back of the magazine, the black part, you can hopefully see this little indent here, this sort of little U shape. That needs to fit around the back of the front of the breech just here. So this black part of the magazine is the bit that faces forward down the rifle towards the muzzle, and then the clear faceplate faces back towards you. Now the magazine goes in from the right hand side with the pointy end first, and this flat part of the magazine on the bottom of the breech. So what you need to do is simply pull back the side lever as far as it will go, and then aligning that cutout with the breech, the pointy end going in first and the flat part at the bottom of the breech. Simply push it in as far as it will go. Now, as I said before, it's quite snug on this rifle, Not that that's a bad thing, but don't be deceived into thinking that you're doing it wrong. It's just a little bit snug. And also the magazine doesn't go all the way through the rifle. It kind of sits out to the right-hand side a little bit. But once you've got it in, obviously return the side lever. Now, because I've got no pellets in this magazine, the probe won't go through it. But if I had pellets in it, you push the side lever forward, the probe would push a pellet through the magazine and into the breech, and you'd be good to go. Well, that's a quick rundown on the FX DRS, the synthetic stock classic model. Our next stage is to take it down to Reading Air Target Shooting Club and see how it shoots. Right, so having talked about the FX DRS in the studio, I'm down here at Reading Air Target Shooting Club to give it a bit of a shoot. I set a target out at 30 metres and I'm using 2.2 JSB Hades pellets. It's a little bit breezy, so that's my excuse, but let's see how we get on. Well, that's a full magazine. Let's go and see how that grouped. Right, let's have a look. It's not too bad, windy day. That is one of those little coin batteries, and that, oops, let's pick it up again. That's one of those coin batteries, and that covers the group quite comfortably. So what's that? I don't know, half an inch or so. So that's 30 meters at with the 2.2 caliber 12 foot-pound rifle using JSB Hades pellets. Well, there you go. That is one mightily impressive rifle, the FX DRS. This is, as I said before, the 500mm barrel synthetic stock version. Retails for 750 quid. Fully regulated, 14-shot magazine, light as a feather, and as you've just seen, nice and accurate too. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you did, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. And also, you might want to check out our website, which is alphamilitaria.com. Thanks for watching.